Sixth graders, we've been talking about multiplying fractions the last 2 days. Today we're going to talk about how to divide fractions. To divide fractions by fractions. Okay? So lesson 6.4. And what we're going to learn about today is that when you are dividing fractions, you actually do multiplication. You don't actually do division to divide fractions. You find the answer by doing multiplication. So you already know how to find the answer once the problem is set up correctly. And in order to set the problem up correctly, you are going to learn about a number called the reciprocal of a fraction. Okay? The reciprocal of a number, or the reciprocal of a fraction, is the fraction flipped upside down. So, the reciprocal of 1/4 is 4 over 1. These two numbers are reciprocals. 3/5 and 5/3 are reciprocals. Because if you started with this one, 5/3, and you flipped it over, you'd have 3/5. Or if you started with 3/5 and you flipped it over, you'd have 5/3. Okay? 3/2 and 2/3 are reciprocals. And so we're going to use that concept of reciprocals to do division with fractions. Here's how you do it. To divide fractions, you multiply the first fraction by the reciprocal of the second fraction. So you change the number, change the problem to times, change it to multiplication, and then flip the second fraction. The second fraction is the divisor in the problem. Okay? So you use the reciprocal of the divisor and then multiply to find the answer. Okay, does everyone have this procedure down?
No.
Everybody done copying this procedure?
No.
Okay, finish it up. Here's an example. Let's say you're given the problem 4/5 divided by 1/2. So follow the steps. Change the problem to times. So it says 4/5 times, but don't times it by the same fraction. Times it by the reciprocal of the second fraction. So we take the second fraction and flip it over, 2 over 1. Instead of 1 over 2, it's 2 over 1. So it's 4/5 times 2 over 1. And then multiply. 4 times 2 is 8. 5 times 1 is 5. So the answer is 8/5, or 1 3/5. That's how you find the answer to this division problem with fractions. Change it to times, flip the second fraction over, and then multiply. Olivia?
What if there's 3 fractions?
If there's 3 fractions, you have to find the answer to the first 2, and then you have to find the answer to the third one.
Do you have to reciprocal the third fraction?
You'd have to do it in separate steps. Yep. You have to do it in separate steps. Okay? So let's look at your book on page 177. It gives some examples. Example 1 says find 6 divided by 1/3. So let's do that one together. 6 divided by 1/3. Okay? Now first, whenever you're working on multiplication or division with fractions, you have to write both of them as fractions. So how do you write the first one as a fraction? Put a 1 under it. 6 over 1. Now follow the steps. Change the problem to what?
Times.
To times. 6 over 1 times. Should we do 6 over 1 times 1 over 3? No. We need to do what with the second one? Andreas?
Flip it over like 3 over 1.
Like 3 over 1. Yep. We use the reciprocal. Use the reciprocal. Okay? And then multiply. 6 times 3 is 18. So that means that is the answer. You don't have to flip it over again at the end. That is how you find the answer. So the answer to 6 divided by 1/3 is 18. Now remember a couple days ago when I said dividing by 1/3 is like cutting it into 3 pieces? It's like dividing it into thirds. How many thirds is it? It's 18 thirds. Alright? Does that kind of make sense? Matt?
If you were like doing five ones and
5 ones
let's say 3
divided
and
by
1/3 again.
divided by 1/3.
Wouldn't you know that you would just do a cross because the ones do not matter that much, so you would do the 5 times 3 and 15 would be
Yeah, because that would be like taking the whole number
just take
and cutting it into thirds.
Yeah.
So yeah, there would be 15 thirds. Okay? Now, let's change your problem a little bit though, and let's say that we were doing 5 divided by 3/8. Now we can't just multiply by the bottom number to get the answer. Okay?
Okay.
Because
Could you multiply?
we have to change the problem to multiplication.
Could you multiply from the top and add the bottom?
No, you just rewrite it. 5 over 1
Okay.
times, change it to times.
Times 3 over
Nope, not times 3 over 8.
8 over 3.
Times 8 over 3. We have to use the reciprocal. Okay? And then multiply.
44.
5 times 8 is 40. 1 times 3 is 3. So it's 40
Over.
thirds. 40 over 3.
Wait, so that's the answer?
Yeah, how many times would 3 go into 40 then? Raiden?
Awesome.
14 times.
No. Peter?
13.
13 times. 13 times 3 is 39. So what would the remainder be? 1. So the answer would be 13 and 1/3. Okay? Questions? Yes?
For the first question that we did, 6 divided by 1/3.
Yeah.
What if the answer was originally 3/6? Did you have to do the thing that we did yesterday to make them into smaller numbers?
Oh, reduce it?
Yeah, reduce.
Yeah, you would. Let's do a couple from your assignment. Okay? So, for example, let's do number 9. That one is part of your assignment. Number 9 gives us 7/3 divided by 1/3. Okay? So, change it to times, do 7/3 times what?
3.
Times what, class?
3 ones.
3 ones, 3 over 1. Now, can we reduce this, Olivia? Yeah, reduce it first. So 3 over 3 is 1 over 1. And then multiply. Multiply the top numbers. 7 times 1. 1 times 1. What's the answer?
Just 7.
Just 7. Yep.
It's the answer to the whole thing.
It's the answer to the whole thing. 7/3 divided by 1/3. 7.
It's kind of like just normal multiplying. Right.
Yeah, it is. But you have to set up the multiplication first. It is normal multiplying, but you have to set it up correctly in order to multiply.
Except you do the reciprocal thing,
Right.
but the real problem is dividing.
Yep. Now, for your assignment, since we don't have much time left, I want you to do 3 to 13 evens, or odds, 3 to 13 odds, okay?